Hi, welcome back. Last week was a kerfuffle.
It was a huge kerfuffle.
But we did record something, and I did record it to put it on YouTube, but forgot about recording the audio as well because...
Why would you need audio?
Yeah, well, that's what I would do. So I have a really great video of Heather and I FaceTiming one another and talking about comics. So, welcome to Talk Comics to me.
Here we are.
I'm Champ.
I'm Heather.
And we're going to do it.
Okay. So I have Hawkeye Free Fall. This is issue number 4. This is Hawkeye still trying to pretend that he isn't Ronin, even though a bunch of people suspect him. Because he is.
Yeah.
He is Ronin. Yeah. He runs into Daredevil and has like a really good conversation that I thought was pretty funny. Because like I told Champ, like I forget that within superhero universes, a lot of them don't know who they are in real life. And I kept trying to figure out why, Clint didn't realize that Daredevil was blind. It was a whole thing. But yeah, it's he's still trying to take down the Hood, and he teams up with a bunch of other people to do it. And then a bunch of crazy stuff happens. Because of course it would.
Yeah. So you still like it, though?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's still fantastic.
And you said it's going to be an ongoing now?
That's what it looked like, yeah. It was originally supposed to be 4 issues, but I just noticed that there were more, so I guess it's ongoing now, which is cool. I like it. Do you want me to go again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you twice and then me once.
Okay, so I have Star Wars The Rise of Kylo Ren, issue number 4. This is the last one in the tiny little series, and this is... literally just his origin, how he became a Knight of the Ren. He kills a couple Jedis, takes someone's helmet,
Oh, there's good Kylo Ren face right there.
Oh, yeah. It's,
that one.
Yeah. But, I mean, overall, I enjoyed it. I mean...
You said that was the last issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't... I have no, real feelings about it either way. It was just something to read, so it was cool, I guess.
I gotcha. So, you read it and you at least kept reading.
Yeah, yeah. It was interesting enough that I wanted to read it, but I'm glad that they only did 4 issues, because I don't think I would be interested in anything after that.
All right. So I have The Man Who Fucked Up Time. This is issue number 2. In the first issue... You meet the main character, man. And his name is Sean. He works in this lab, and they're working on a time machine, and he thinks about all of, the bad decisions he's made in his life, and if he could only go back, so far that he could fix all these decisions he's made, and, comes to this conclusion that, yeah, you shouldn't do that, should not go back in time and mess anything up. And his future self comes and is like, hey, guess what? You should do that. And he listens like a fool. And when he comes back, he has ruined everything.
Of course. Why would you listen to a future version of yourself?
Yeah, so he's basically being hunted down, or he's found by time cops, and they're basically you need to fix what you've done. And so that is what he is trying to do within this issue, is fix what he has done. But he can't figure out, at what point to stop himself or how far to go. So he interacts with his past self and, ends up getting in a fight with his past self. And honestly, the art is so, so great. The clerk's reactions, if I can get to the page, they're just, they're so good. He's just...
Oh my God.
It's a really fun, silly book, and I highly, highly suggest it. I'm 2 issues in, and I'm at least having a fun time, and I love a decent time story,
Good.
And that is it for that.
Okay, cool. Oh my God. Hi, we both have Ronin Island. This is issue 11. There's one more, right?
Yep, one more issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bummed.
This is still, Hana and Kenichi trying to protect the island against the Shogun. and they get kind of betrayed.
Yeah. I wouldn't say, like, betrayed, but also not betrayed.
Right. It's
I think Hannah makes it very clear her feelings on the island and how she's been treated all of these years and everything that's been, like, culminating to this moment. And I don't know, there's something just, like, really, like, heart-wrenching about what she's saying, because the island is all about togetherness, but she's never felt like she's been one of them. So, I don't know.
I do, and, you know, Kenichi stands up for her, which I've been waiting for this entire series.
Yeah.
It was a very, very good moment.
I'm really sad to, like, see this book finish up, and I'm also, like, excited to see what happens at the same time, so everything's, like, coming to an end.
It's fantastic.
It's really good.
The story is it's very, very good. I really enjoy it. I'm glad I got on it, and I'm glad that we got past that first issue, because I know that we both had mixed feelings on it.
And I definitely did have mixed feelings on it, because I only had, like, the number 1 originally, and then I added it. God, Mega. The dog is dying. Cat's going to the bathroom. Like, what is happening today? I just, like, getting over that first issue and, like, the idea of, I guess, monsters and, like, the supernatural within the story was easy enough after you got used to it.
Oh, yeah. Once it was more explained and it wasn't just, like, a random thing. I agree.
Go ahead.
I have Reaver. This is issue number 7. This is part 1 of a little chapter called The Grim After. This takes place sometime after the events of the first 6 issues. Essen Breakers, he goes back to a town that holds a friend that he was, like, raised with and stuff, and he wants to be a better person, but things just aren't working out for him because everyone sees him and they're like, whoa, dude wants to fight, because he's huge. And that's just what he's known for, is, you know, killing.
Yeah, the dude wants to fight.
That's pretty much, like, what happens. He walks in and they're like, oh, you want to fight? And then they just all fight. But to be honest, I wasn't sure when this took place, like, if this was an origin of him or not, until, like, this last page when one of the previous characters shows up.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, this all makes sense now. This is, like, sometime in the future after they find the anvil and are saved.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah, they're off doing their own thing. As far as I can remember, these are the only 2 who were left alive. So.
Okay. Makes sense. Do you think there will be, like, a surprise reappearance of a character that you thought was dead?
I could see that for one of them for sure. And if they did it, like, I think it would be cool, but also it's just not necessary. Because I felt like his death was good.
Yeah.
It was a good death, but I don't know. I could see them bringing him back. I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Which was really cool because I didn't think that I would, especially after that first issue.
Yeah.
But
and I'm glad you stuck on. Like, I enjoy hearing about it still, so.
Yeah, I liked it way more than I probably should have. But whatever. Then I have, got this title. V. Schwab, Shades of Magic, The Steel Prince, The Rebel Army. This is the last one, finally. And this just concludes the story of Prince Maxim becoming the Steel Prince, fighting the Rebel Army. And he, I'm pretty sure if I read it correctly, because it's very vague, he is now officially king, too.
Okay.
I feel like his dad stepped down because he was like, oh, you proved yourself worthy. And
so now he's the Steel King.
Yes.
Does he still have a rebel army?
No, the Rebel Army was fighting against him.
Oh.
He had to stop the Rebel Army.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I've listened to you talk about all of these books. I should know this by now.
I
just know that this prince is a prick.
Yes.
That is what I have gathered.
He has been humbled, though. He's better.
That's your, like, favorite type of character.
I know.
You have a type.
I do. Give me a tortured prince with daddy issues any day, and I am in.
As long as he has that slight bit of redemption.
We only love slight redemptions.
Well, you can't be, like, 100% good all the time.
I know.
Unless you're me.
That's true. You are the exception.
I'm kidding. I'm not 100% good all the time. All right. I'm going to talk about Batman's grave.
Okay.
It's, Batman is fighting his way out of Arkham Asylum with Jim Gordon because they've been trapped there. They're talking about who they've been trapped by, and basically Batman's like, they are many steps ahead of us, yet they're making mistakes now, and I will figure this out. So he goes to a scene of a crime and does some Batman shit where he's just like, if I was this dude, I would look at this clock, and then I would know that, like, somebody had stopped my security system, and this and that. A lot of Batman shit.
I forget he's a detective.
Yeah. He's a hardcore detective in this, but also punches people in the face real hard.
Okay.
So it gives you a decent balance of, like, Batman punching people, some snarky Jim Gordon and Alfred, and some real detective Batman.
I'm sorry that my little sister just texted. She's such a brat.
And that's all I have to say about that Batman. Art's really good. It's a really enjoyable book overall.
There's 2 more issues? There's 8?
There's 6 more issues.
6 more, okay. What is the one that's 8?
It's Batman Curse of the White Knight.
Okay.
And there's only 1 more issue of that, and I cannot wait to be done. Oh, thanks. I just got mine on vacation.
I got mine from a weird tote in the living room at home.
Mine does say, like, I didn't notice, but it says love on the bottom in a weird font.
It does, yeah.
I hated that once I saw it. I was like, oh, this top is so cool, but then the bottom says fucking, god damn it. It was on sale, no wonder, because it says love on the bottom.
No one else is going to wear that.
Yeah, only my dumbass.
Okay, so we actually both read this one too. This is Thor, issue number 4. This just Thor letting
Galactus eat some planets. There is no real, like, fight with Sif. And she's just kind of like, I'm taking Beta Ray Bill home, and you know you're doing some fucked up shit.
Yeah, figure out your life.
And then she left, yeah.
Typical Sif fashion.
It was, I don't know. It's not like a non-enjoyable story. It doesn't make me care at all.
Yeah, no, same. I did like that little part with Loki in it, though.
Yeah, I also like that part.
I thought that was really cute. Where he's like, oh, hammer, huh?
I do think Donny Cates would be, well, yeah, no, he writes Loki really well.
Yeah. I love the art for it, too.
Yeah, the art is really great in the story.
I just kind of want to get it past whatever's happening now.
Yeah.
Because I want to know, like, what it leads into, because I know Donny Cates is, like, a big picture guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's Thor, issue number 4, Donny Cates. It's okay.
Oh.
I guess I'll go again.
Yeah, dog.
Okay, so I have this first issue of Jim Henson's The Storyteller Ghosts. Normally, I would not be into a Jim Henson book. Not gonna lie. But this whole, like, 4-part series is about Scandinavian folklore, which I am very into. So I decided to give it a try, and I actually really enjoyed it.
Good.
I feel like each one is going to be a different story. I don't know how his stuff works.
I think I read online somewhere that they were each kind of like a one-shot, or at least the way it made it sound, it was like that one was a one-shot for sure.
Cool. Well, this is the story of the Myling. Mylings are, I'm pretty sure it's always, like, children or maybe just ghosts or, like, anyone who dies. Yeah. So it's a ghost that will fill the area that it had died with, like, pain and, you know, horror and stuff like that, because all they want is their body to be buried properly. So it's the story of this guy who he was a twin. His twin ended up dying, and he grows old feeling like a piece of him is, like, missing.
Yeah.
So the woman that, like, found him in the woods tells him, you know, like, oh, this is what happened. Like, you had a brother. And, like, so he goes on the mission to find his brother so that he can have that closure in his life. And he runs into the Myling, who happens to be his brother's spirit. Okay. Yeah. So
that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's nice and dark, but it's told in story form. So, like, this old woman is, like, telling her dog this story.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah, it's yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute.
Yeah, that was one I had thought about just because the cover is really intriguing. Mm-hmm. That was one where the cover art definitely pulled me in, but then I was like, nope, it's okay. I've got a lot of books.
Yeah.
And then I have a reasonable amount of books this week. So.
Yeah. I can let you borrow it because I think you would enjoy it too. Okay. And it's not like a complicated read by any means. It's nice and easy.
I like nice and easy.
Oh yeah, me too. Okay. Next we have Safe Sex. This is number 7. And this is the end of this story arc.
Yeah.
Now when it says can't even talk. When it says to be continued, do you think it's going to be continuing this storyline with Avery?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Did you read the outro?
I didn't. No, I didn't actually read any of this for once.
Okay, I did read the outro just because I was not 100% sure, like, with the ending, how it would be continued, or if it would be continued necessarily, if it was one of those things where it was just like, we're going to try to do this, but the way the outro sounds, it is going to be continued and coming back in fall. I'm not 100% sure what that storyline would follow. I do like how she talks about within the outro about how, like, she didn't want the ending to 100% be happy. Mm-hmm. And that, like, I don't know, it was rough reading it last night because I've got a lot of feelings right now.
I feel that.
Especially with, like, the state of the world, which I've had for a while, but that really, like, it was hard to also, like, have that, like, ending where you had that double-edged sword where things were good but also bad. Mm-hmm. And it's also, like, the idea of a struggle, and she also pinpoints that it was influenced by, if I remember correctly, I'm sorry, I'm going to steal yours real quick. Sorry, everybody. Influenced by, like, Get Out in Brazil. So the idea that the ending might not be the end 100%.
Okay.
So
nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm excited. It's nice to also, you know, not to like pussyfoot around, like, the idea of, like, something that bad can happen no matter what. Like, even when you're fighting for good, nothing ends up the way you want.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of sacrifice involved with that.
Yeah.
And yes.
So, boom.
Yes, I feel like if you haven't been reading it, you probably should, because it also it's really good, but there's a lot of, like, underlying messages and stuff. And
yeah.
Again, the interviews in the back are always really good. It's just refreshing.
It is really refreshing, and it's nice to read something from somebody who you know is authentic and very real with what they're saying about sex work and people in like LGBTQ people, and just living that life and knowing those feelings. So, I don't know. Don't want to talk about it too much because I might just fucking explode.
You're going to get crazy.
I was going to cry. It's going to be sad.
Okay, so now we have Decorum. This is a new Jonathan Hickman joint. This is issue number 1.
Sexy assassins.
Yes, who are also very nice and polite, which I enjoy.
Things I want to say about this book is that it's very much in Jonathan Hickman fashion. It really, like, oddly reminded me of, I believe, Black Monday Murders.
Okay.
It had that, like, because Black Monday Murders also has these, like, text pages, very much like a book, almost. So the intro is almost about how these worlds were built and what happens, and the art is just amazing. The colors are great. They're maps. So if you like maps, they are weird. And
I love maps, and I'm not going to lie, this is what I spent the most time on this morning when I was reading it. Just staring at the maps, because I love maps so much. But they're very informative maps.
Yeah, they're very important to the story. The thing to be, like, aware of, too, is once you, like, the books kind of have 2 separate stories, even if they are combined themselves. It's just you have a very different beginning from the end of it. And then the art is also, the colors are a little interesting. You have a lot of black and whites with just, like, pops of color. Mm-hmm. It's really, really well done. It's just something to keep your eyes on. But I am obviously in love with the main assassin lady.
Dang, me too. It's because she's so polite.
I think it's just because it looks like she could just, like, step on my face in a really hot way.
While saying thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want her to say thank you, but it's fine.
I do. Okay, yeah, it's about assassins.
Assassins. Just
Yes.
keep that in mind.
Yes.
Assassins. I'm gonna talk about Cable real fast.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I read Cable. I do not have it, which honestly, I kind of wish I don't know. I'm like, should I put it on my profile? I don't think I should, but I did really love it. It's not what I expected at all. It's almost like cute, which I wasn't expecting from a Cable book.
No, that is weird. Maybe just read the second issue and see if it carries on through that, because I know sometimes first issues are great.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the tone. I think it did a really good job of, like, setting up who this character is, as well as giving you, like, a little bit of a mystery and something else that's going on. There was a really great line where he is talking to a young mutant who is being brave, and he said he's like, "You've got pouches on you, kid." And I'm just like, oh, that's great. It's like, or I like your pouches, like something to the effect of, like,
I do love that.
I was like, that's good. I love it. So, I don't know. It just had some quality of it. I don't know if it was, like, the Phil Noto art and, like, the colors, like, combined with, like, the story itself. But there was something that was really just, I don't know.
You really enjoyed it?
I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And it was just, like, really, like, well done.
I'll read it tonight when I get in, because I was on the fence about it yesterday, but hearing you say that makes me want to read it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
It was one of those things that, it was like when I liked X-Force a lot, I was like, oh, I'm not going to like this at all. Like, why would I like this?
Right. That's why, yeah, maybe just get the second issue, like, read it or whatever. Dude, no.
I'm telling you, he's a monster now.
Okay. And then our last one here, we have Xmen issue number 8. Xmen are fighting the Brood.
Yes. So you haven't been reading the New Mutants book, but this is basically kind of like a continuance of the New Mutants from the space story.
Okay.
So that's why you are, like, Roberto's in space and the Shi'ar, like, system, like, they had just separated from Cyclops' dad and, like, those guys. And so Rain had stolen the egg from Cyclops' dad.
Okay. That all makes more sense, because the only, like, information I have on the Brood is, like, from the Avengers, and I kept expecting Thor to show up in Brood form, just, you know.
Yeah, no, it's almost just, like, in combination with that, like, New Mutants storyline. So it was enjoyable for me because it kind of wrapped up that, and I did like the idea of, like, getting the hierarchy of the mutants and where they stand, like, with commanders and stuff like that, and kind of how they stand when they get attacked by people. Yes, an egg.
It's the egg.
An egg.
Jonathan Hickman tied Decorum and Xmen together.
With some eggs.
Some eggs.
A man loves his eggs.
He just needed to use gold balls for something. Okay, that's everything.
That's everything. It's Wednesday. We did it pretty quick. So we'll see you next week. Thanks for chilling. Go buy comics. Do the thing. Take care of yourself. Wash your hands.
Don't touch your face.
Vote for Bernie in any primaries if you're voting anytime soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.